This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. The Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation, neighboring Fountain Hills, Arizona, recently dealt with reports of, quote, aggressive dogs running loose, resulting in attacks that prompted its police department to increase patrols while urging the public to stay away. KJZZ's Gabriel Pietrozio reports.
2 tribal members were bitten last week and are now recovering from non-lethal injuries, according to Acting Chief of Police Jesse Puffer.
We did catch 3 out of 4 dogs.
And incidents like this are not uncommon on tribal lands, with canines roaming their 24,000-acre reservation. Some are seen as strays, often dogs that are dumped there by owners who do not wish to keep them, while others are claimed by tribal members as pets.
We also have a dog ordinance, too, so people, they get cited for that as well. Depending on what the nature is, it could be anywhere from, $150 fine, and it can be higher if you can't show record of vaccination and also licensing.
For National Native News, I'm Gabriel Pietrozio.
The documentary Remaining Native tracks Yerington, Nevada Paiute tribal member Koo Stevens as he confronts the horror of what his great-grandfather went through in boarding school. Stevens created a remembrance run tracking the same route his great-grandfather took to escape boarding school. KNPR's Jimmy Romo attended a screening of the film and brings us this report. And to note, this story includes accounts of violence against children.
In 1913, government officials ripped 8-year-old Yerington Paiute tribe member Frank Quinn from his family and placed him in the Stewart Indian boarding school near Carson City. As a part of her history PhD studies at UNLV, Annie Delgado researches what actually happened to Native children in the U.S. boarding school system.
The early years are just filled with trauma and abuse and pain and just assimilation.
Many students try to escape the abuse. Quinn's great-grandson, Koo Stevens, is the protagonist in the documentary Remaining Native. In the film, viewers learned, along with Stevens, the story of his great-grandfather. To remember the courage of Native students who tried to escape, Stevens organized a remembrance run from Yerington to the Stewart Indian School.
Well, a local athlete from a smaller school here in northern Nevada is getting national attention for what he does both in his sport and for his people.
The first run took place in 2021, followed by 3 others. The route marked the same 50-mile run Quinn took to go back home.
I'm going to retrace the footsteps of my great-grandfather.
Here's Stevens.
They were running, they were sweating, bleeding. I think of this guy, Russell, who I consider just like an uncle, broke both of his feet, fractured them by the end of the run. And he did all 50 miles.
In the most recent class action lawsuit, the Wichita and affiliated tribes and the Washoe tribes of Nevada and California filed a case against the federal government in May. They were suing over misused funds. Currently, the sovereign nations are requesting that the U.S. itemize a $23 billion trust fund, established by pressuring Native nations to sign agreements. Most of the treaties would promise that the U.S. would educate indigenous children in exchange for their land. But that wasn't what happened.
The United States government itself knows that these schools did not educate the way they intended to educate.
The communal trauma of boarding schools still affects indigenous families across the nation. The film Remaining Native is still available for community screenings.
That was Jimmy Romo reporting. The Bridging Agency Data Gaps and Ensuring Safety for Native Communities Act has passed the U.S. Senate. It supports the recruitment and retention of BIA law enforcement officers, bolsters federal missing persons resources, and gives tribes and states tools to combat MMIW. The legislation is led by Senators Catherine Cortez Masto, John Hoeven, Ruben Gallego, and Mike Rounds. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by AARP, whose Family Caregiver Resource Guide is available to caregivers by calling 877-333-5885 or at aarp.org/caregiver-resources. Support from Clarkson Potter, publisher of Turtle Island, Foods and Traditions of the Indigenous Peoples of North America by Native American chef Sean Sherman. With ancestral and modern recipes, this cookbook showcases diverse foodways of the continent's regions.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.